Okay, good evening. It's another Friday evening, and you know the time is Revelation Hour. God bless you for making time to watch the program. And let me take this opportunity to also welcome our brothers and sisters who are watching from Trinity TV. We welcome you and we say God bless you so much. I'm here with the evangelist himself, Evangelist Joseph Anani. Evangelist, good evening.
Good evening.
We've entered into the Sabbath, if you care to know, because every Friday evening from sunset to sunset is the Sabbath hour. So please take note of that. And this evening, we are doing part 7 of America is Back with 20 videos. You heard me right, 20 videos. So God bless you for making time to watch the program. But we cannot start the program without saying thank you to our cherished donors. In fact, it is by your donations that have sustained the program till date. And we are very, very grateful, and we say God bless you so much for doing that. But still, the battle has not ended yet. So we still need your funds to pay for the airtime. And if you have any money that you want to send to us, the number still remains 055 35 74 933. And as the program is going on, you can see the number on your screens. Just copy the number down. And anytime that you send money, the name that will appear is Joseph Anani. So please take note of that. So my name is Evangelist Kofi Kakari, as usual. God willing, tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock to 5:30 in the evening, Evangelist Joseph Anani and the team is coming to Kaswa Lamte SDA Church. So please, if you live in around that area, tomorrow morning 9 to 5:30, let's meet over there and study together. And on the 2nd September, Evangelist Joseph Anani and the team is traveling to Nkranza. Yes. I'm told it's not Nkranza, it's Nkranza Estate or something.
Yes, we are going to Nkranza Estate. They are hosting
Nkranza Estate SDA Church.
They are hosting the program.
That's right. Nkranza Estate SDA Church. That's where Evangelist and the team is coming to. So if you live in around that area, Nkranza, Techimai, anywhere, let's meet over there on the 2nd September so that we will study together. The time is 9 o'clock in the morning to 5:30 in the evening. Please permit me to take this announcement in tree. Yes, Ramo Nyankopon ti asefo no pa ochira no pa. Non kono kosise no numbe pai mu, that's 5:30 in the evening. Evangelist Joseph Anani ni team ni nyina da ba Kaswa Lamte SDA Church. It is hot be hono mo ba bia Central Region mama yenhia e Kaswa Lamte SDA Church. Ye ba be sua de na benya kwanya busa kwachia wo pe. Enu echi no nso no on the 2nd September, Evangelist Joseph Anani ni team ni nyina da ba Nkranza Estate SDA Church on the 2nd September. Intimation mo BA area ni nyina mo nhya no nso say on the 2nd September no Evangelist ba Nkranza. So please take note of that. Evangelist,
yes,
with 20 videos, America is back. Prophecies fulfilling in our day and age. Evangelist.
Amen. We thank God.
That's right.
And we thank our viewers and those who have been supporting us. Times are hard. Conditions have become so difficult. And we are still praying that God will continue to bless them.
That's right.
So they can get money for us to be putting these messages on air. God bless them.
Amen.
America is back and we are doing part 7. The prophecy of America is located in Revelation chapter 13, 11 to 17. Now, Revelation 13, or the entire book of Revelation, was written around AD 95.
Okay.
Some scholars date 96. Whichever one you take is less than AD 100, in the 1st century AD. Let me just put it like that. And Revelation 13 was part of the record that was given far back in the 1st century AD. The historical setting of America, the time it arose into prominence in history, yes, gives us a clue to fix America in the year 1776 when they attained their independence
from the British.
And then also the power, the religious power that was before the coming up of America into prominence. You know, Revelation 13 says that there was a first power, and when that power is being brought to low, or when that power is being reduced, then another power emerges. Yes. So for you to know when and where America was coming from, you need to understand the first verses of Revelation 13 down through verse 10. A power is, and that power is the power of Rome.
That's right.
Then known as the papacy. So at the time when the papacy was being wounded by General Bethia and co. in 1798, that was when the prophet said, I saw another beast come out of the earth, having two horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. So America came in around 1776, and the papacy was wounded in 1798. So it was just following on the heels of the wounding of the papacy. This is the historical setting of America. So they both fall into that line.
That's right.
And then from verse 12 of Revelation 13, America will exhibit those prophetic characteristics. And I'm beginning to mark it by the speaking of America as a dragon. I've explained it all through the series from part 1 to 6, and I'm adding part 7 this evening.
That's right.
And with that, we go straight to explain it with our first two videos.
Okay.
Yes, because we have said the speaking of the nation is the action of its judicial, and then the legislative, and then the judicial authorities.
That's right.
So we will go straight to the Supreme Court and see what America have said.
Okay. America comes out with two horns like a lamb.
Yes.
And will speak like a dragon.
A dragon.
So production, please, videos 1 and 2. If you're ready, please roll them for us.
That we are going to get a decision on marriage equality. And we're going to go to our Ari Melber right now. Ari, I would imagine people are running behind you at the Supreme Court steps.
Speaking to you from the Supreme Court, we have read from the bench, there is a right to marriage equality. I repeat, speaking to you from the steps of the Supreme Court, there is a right to marriage equality, read just from the bench now, waiting to get the opinions as they come running out of the court, Thomas.
We do. So this is a big day. Again, Ari Melber is standing there telling us that the court has ruled in favor of marriage equality in the Obergefell case. We're going to go to our Pete Williams, if I understand that correctly right now, NBC. And Ari, as we wait for Pete, we were talking before why June 26th is such a special day. It ties seamlessly with the Lawrence and the Windsor decisions that were also delivered on this day. Let's go to Pete Williams.
Excuse me. First time the Supreme Court has said there is a constitutional right excuse me, to same-sex marriage. You can hear the cheer in the crowd. A very dramatic moment here. A 5-4 decision written by Justice Anthony Kennedy. This is a total victory for the advocates of same-sex marriage. The court had considered a fallback in case it didn't go this far, that states would at least have to recognize same-sex marriages that were performed in other states. But the court has gone the whole way, said there is an absolute constitutional right to same-sex marriage. Now, what this means is that it is now the law of the land. In the 14 states that now ban same-sex marriage, they will have to permit same-sex marriages now. So the effect of this will take a while. It won't be immediate. The court's mandate will have to issue. That's a technical term, meaning when it'll actually take effect. The mere announcement of it doesn't do it, but it will be soon, and it means that same-sex marriage will be the law of the land.
And welcome back. Here on Live Now from Fox, once again taking a live look at the Supreme Court as we continue to talk about the rulings from this morning. The Supreme Court using the case of a Christian mailman who didn't want to work Sundays to solidify protections for workers who asked for religious accommodations. In a unanimous decision, the justices made clear that workers who ask for accommodations like taking the Sabbath off should get them unless their employers show doing so would result in, quote, substantial increased cost to the business. Andrew Lieb is a legal analyst, a friend of the show with Lieb at Law, and joins us now live to talk more about all of this. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Josh, thanks for having me. What an important decision that's going to change workers throughout the United States today. I can't underestimate how important this decision is.
And kind of break it down for me. Why is this something that so many people are paying attention to, talking about, and what does it mean for workers in the U.S.?
Well, I'm going to do it two ways. I'll tell you legally, and then I'll tell you effectively how it's going to affect everyone. Legally, we have a decision from 50 years ago that explained how you're supposed to do employment law, like how employment law, it's called Title VII. You might have heard of it, the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, how you need to deal with an employee that wants an accommodation. What is an accommodation? A change of a policy, a procedure of the job. And usually we hear about it when it comes to either disability or handicap or religion. So in this situation, this evangelical Christian said, hey, listen, I think the Sabbath is a day of rest. I shouldn't have to go deliver mail everywhere. That's the Sabbath. On Sunday, I don't need to do that. And the lower court, the district court, they said, you got no case. 50-year-ago precedent, it says, as long as the employer can show more than a de minimis cost, they can deny you. This changes it. Employees have so much more rights today. In effect, what we learn, a 9-0 decision by Alito, Josh, here's what it says. Now, if...
Ivan, they see it as a victory.
Yes.
But please, we are streaming live on Facebook. So please, if you have a smartphone, please go to Homebase TV on Facebook, like the program, and then share it for us. If you have any comment, put it down there. If time permits us, we will read them for you. So please do that for us. Evangelist.
Good. For the first time in the history of the nation of America, the issue of resting on Sunday as a Sabbath has gotten to the apex court, the Supreme Court.
That's right.
Hitherto, it has been going back and forth, in the ranks of the lower courts. Now we have been hearing it, here a little and there a little. But the first time in history, which I've heard, that the Supreme Court is considering Sunday Sabbath in a legal contention like we are hearing, is what has been said happened June this year.
That's right.
And that is the dragon's voice that I'm talking to, because the speaking of the nation has always come from the law courts and from the legislature. And there is no one on earth, biblically, who will say that Sunday is a 7-day Sabbath. No. Especially when it comes to America, and then the gurus at the Supreme Court. Yes, they know that when it comes to the Sabbath issue, the 7th day that matters. That's the Sabbath of the Lord. Okay. But in this case, they have, through the constitution of the law and their rights, they have chosen to allow Sunday to go, because that was the issue that was brought. Fine. So over there, the court is using her powers to push a Sunday rest, which goes contrary to the voice of the Lord.
That's right.
So the dragon's voice of America will finally be heard when this Sunday law, which they have now passed at the court, when it will eventually begin to be enforced upon the people, or the people shall enforce it. Whichever way it goes, the same thing. Yes, when it gets there, when it takes that national dimension, then we can hear the dragon's voice in America now. And America will also lead the whole world into that.
That's right.
And the process has begun. The next video.
Yes. Okay, production, please, video 3. If you are ready, roll it for us. Video 3.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today is a historic day in the fight to protect our planet for future generations. 10 months ago in Paris, I said before the world that we needed a strong global agreement to reduce carbon pollution and to set the world on a low carbon course. The result was the Paris Agreement. Last month, the United States and China, the world's 2 largest economies and largest emitters, formally joined that agreement together. And today, the world has officially crossed the threshold for the Paris Agreement to take effect. Today, the world meets the moment. And if we follow through on the commitments that this Paris Agreement embodies, history may well judge it as a turning point for our planet. Of course, it took a long time to reach this day. One of the reasons I ran for this office was to make America a leader in this mission. And over the past 8 years, we've done just that.
Okay, that's coming from Barack Hussein Obama.
Very well. My interest there is that it says one of the reasons he ran for office was for the pushing of the Paris Agreement.
Okay.
Yes, one of the reasons he ran for office. Obama has said it.
And he won.
And he won.
On 2 consecutive
Yes.
times.
And the next 4 videos will testify that indeed America led. And that leadership of America is key and it is prophetic. He led the world and America into the acceptance and adoption of the Paris Agreement. Fine. The next video would attest to what we are saying, that America's superpower, which is prophetic, can never be equaled.
That's right.
The next videos.
Okay, videos 4 to 7.
Yes.
Production, please roll them for us.
My solemn duty to protect America and its citizens. The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord Thank you.
President Trump is blasting his own government scientists, saying he does not believe their new report on climate change.
The report paints a dire picture for the future of California and the country, saying we'll see more fires and more 100-degree days.
I don't believe it.
President Donald Trump reacting to his own government's report released Friday. The report warns climate change could cost the U.S. economy hundreds of billions of dollars and kill thousands of people before the end of the century.
I've seen it. I've read some of it, and it's fine.
They say economic impact is devastating.
Yeah, I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it.
The president essentially echoed that statement earlier this month when asked during a visit to the burn area in Northern California if he'd changed his mind on climate change.
No.
And today, Northern California Democratic Congressman John Garamendi described the president's position on climate change as, quote, a disaster for the world.
It is unimaginable that the president of the United States would put at risk this nation, this world, by simply refusing to deal with climate change. It is a fundamental worldwide problem. We have to get on it. And the president, every day he delays, every day he says it's not a problem, is one more step towards the disaster that's coming.
Dr. Brenda Acquarzel co-authored the federal climate change report.
Any leader who does not take climate change seriously is doing a disservice to the public.
The White House claims the report is, quote, largely based on the most extreme scenario, which contradicts long-established.
All right, good afternoon again. I will read out a statement on the decision by the U.S. to withdraw from the Paris Agreement. The decision by the United States to withdraw from the Paris Agreement on climate change is a major disappointment for global efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote international security. The Paris Agreement was adopted by all the world's nations in 2015 because they recognize the immense harm that climate change is already causing and the enormous opportunity that climate action represents. It offers a meaningful yet flexible framework for action by all countries. The transformation envisaged in the Paris Agreement is already underway. The Secretary General remains confident that all other parties to the Paris Agreement will continue to demonstrate vision and leadership, along with very many cities, states, and businesses in the United States and around the world, by working for the low-carbon, resilient economic growth that will create quality jobs and markets for the 21st century economic prosperity. It is crucial that the United States remains a leader on environmental issues. The Secretary General looks forward to engaging with the American government and all actors in the United States and around the world to build the sustainable future on which our grandchildren depend.
Withdrawal is getting more bad reviews around the world. Countries on 6 continents are questioning President Trump's decision. The United States joins the only 2 countries that did not sign the agreement to cut greenhouse gas emissions. They are Syria and Nicaragua. Even North Korea has ratified the accord. Ben Tracy is in Beijing with reaction from China, which the president strongly criticized in his statement. Ben, good morning.
Good morning. So all along, China had said that regardless of what the United States did, it was going to honor its commitment to the Paris Climate Accord. So you have leaders all over the world expressing their dismay, but here in China, they see an opportunity to become a global leader on climate change.
China is the biggest polluter on the planet.
But now its state-owned tabloid is calling the U.S. withdrawal reckless and said America's selfishness and irresponsibility would hurt its global standing. Reaction from around the world was swift. This morning, German Chancellor Angela Merkel called it extremely regrettable. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called it disheartening. And the Vatican went further, saying Mr. Trump's decision was a disaster for everyone. Paris bathed its city hall in green lights, and French President Emmanuel Macron made a forceful speech in English.
It is an actual mistake, both for the U.S. and for our planet.
After meeting with President Trump last week in Europe, Macron used the president's own words against him.
We all share the same responsibility. Make our planet great again.
Germany, France, and Italy issued a rare joint statement calling the Paris Accord irreversible and stating it cannot be renegotiated. That was a blunt rejection of President Trump's assertion that he will eventually negotiate a better deal on climate. The president is fundamentally shifting alliances around the world. The Chinese premier visited Germany and Brussels this week to forge a closer relationship with Europe. China plans to spend more than $360 billion on renewable energy by 2020, which it says will create at least 13 million new jobs. To give you a sense of just how much has changed, the president of the European Commission said that he will likely be working more closely with China now than the United States.
Okay, welcome back. Evangelist, Donald Trump is saying he doesn't believe what they are saying.
He doesn't believe it. He has said it. And no one dares to question him. You question him, he has said, I don't believe in it.
That's right.
Simple. Now, the events they are calling climate change, yes, actually are happening. Yes, we will not do like Trump.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a real issue.
Yes, the effects of climate change are realities on the ground. Biblically, Luke 21:25, Revelation 7:2 and 3, and Revelation 16:8. These are the initial Bible quotations you can get to explain what the scientists are calling climate change. These things are prophetic because there are angels of God responsible for the ecosystem. And as part of the fulfillment of the signs of the times, these angels will be called into action. Yes. So they control the sun and they control the ecosystem. Yes. So they will manage it in a way that will correspond with the prophecies of the Bible. So the student of prophecy will know that, yes, the angels are at work. And then it gives us the impetus, gives us that power to preach the word. So in Acts 1:18, Acts 1:8 says, "Ye shall receive power." Those things are signs to ignite some power in us so we can preach the imminence of the coming of Jesus Christ, the soon coming of Christ Jesus. You can see how close it is. Yes. And while these signs are happening, the scientific world will be calling the climate change.
That's right.
We agree. That is their scientific track.
Okay.
Let them follow. But the students of faith, we know that these are the signs of the times concerning the second coming of Christ. Yes. And we are saying that America, in their efforts to lead the world into speaking like a dragon, will also follow the suit of which the Supreme Court has just followed. They will follow passing an international or a global Sunday law in the sense of reducing global emissions.
That's right.
The climate change definition,
which is a deceit,
which will also go forward to fulfill Bible prophecy that America is speaking like a dragon. Speaking like a dragon simply means that breaking the commandments of God and enforcing people to do so. That's the work of the devil.
Follow suit.
Yes, that's the work of the devil.
Okay.
The next two videos.
Okay. Production, please. Videos 8 and 9. If you are ready, please roll them for us. 8 and 9. Okay, welcome once again. We've watched 2 videos and we will go to Evangelist for explanation to that.
Fine. The global temperature anomaly, we got it from 2 areas. One from NASA and then one from Berkeley. All in the United States though.
Okay.
Yes, Berkeley Science and then from NASA. And together it says, according to the IPCC, right, since systematic scientific assessment began in the 1970s, the influence of human activity on the warming of a climate system has evolved through theory to established facts. It means that from the 1970s, the findings of the scientific world has now established it as a fact that human activities have created the global warming.
That's right, a contributing factor.
Yes, have contributed largely to it. So the Paris Agreement, which President Obama led the world into adopting that agreement, has its Article 2, Clause 8, that they have to reduce
the carbon emission. Okay.
Yes, to 1.5. So their target is that bringing the temperature now, which is almost burning at 2 degrees, we want to reduce it to 1.5. That is what is on the screen over there, per the IPCC. Right. And to do that, they are looking at the impacts of climate change, the rapidity, and how it is escalating. That's what is compelling them to act quickly.
Yeah, it's getting worse by the day.
And those impacts of climate change are what we are calling the signs of the times, which sort of is that, you know, the more it rapids, the more it happens rapidly, and the frequency of it, and then the magnitude of it also informs us that yes, Christ is at the door
and gives us the energy to preach the second
So
advent.
whilst we are working hard, warning the people that it is a transgression of God's law that is bringing all these natural disasters on us, science is also saying that it is human activity which is bringing all these things on the earth. So the best way is to slow down human activities by pushing in the Sunday Sabbath, which is a 4 Sabbath. So while they are pushing the 4 Sabbath, we are telling that no, if you want to rest, the resting day is rather Saturday and not Sunday. So this is the issue that is coming out of all this
that is
global
in contention at the moment.
Very good. Now, for evidence sake, let's roll out some impacts of climate change in the next videos.
Really?
Yes.
Climate change. The climate is deteriorating by the day.
Yes.
So, for evidence,
yes,
please, videos 10 to 14.
Very well.
Let's watch it.
Crisis. Amelia, I want everyone to take a look at this map we're going to put up here. Each of these red, green, yellow dots here, those are fires. How many? More than 5,000. They have combined burned at least 29 million acres. How big is that? Well, the state of Iowa is 30 million, Wisconsin 35 million. And the worst part, this may still get worse before it gets better. This is what an international wildfire crisis looks like on the ground and in the air. More than 5,000 fires burning and counting in a country that's home to about 1/10 of the world's forests. Record high temperatures, a record drought, infernos producing an endless stream of smoke darkening skies that we've seen here in Minnesota and also across coasts and even continents. Many are sparked by lightning, others by human error, but every Canadian province and territory is feeling the heat. From Quebec.
We've been told that these are fires that they have not had even recorded in anybody's lifetime.
To Ontario.
Typically, we deal with, 5 to 10 to 25 to 50 new fires a day.
Manitoba.
And just the impact it does have on our kids. Like I even noticed they're coughing more at night, or our windows can't be open.
Alberta.
Our last record for area burned was set 40 years ago. And we've broken that already, and it's not even the end of the season yet.
To the Northwest Territories.
This is Mother Nature running its course, driven by things like climate change.
Just consider what it would be like if wildfires raged in all 50 U.S. states at the same time. Nearly 29 million acres burned. That's like the entire state of Iowa on fire. All of it's being monitored right here at what's called.
It is an extraordinarily serious situation.
Canada is sending the military to help amid fast-spreading wildfires in British Columbia, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said on Sunday. The western province has been battling for days the latest round of blazes that have led to evacuation orders for more than 35,000 people.
The federal government is continuing to step up. We're there with Canadian Armed Forces resources. We're active in coordinating with regional and local governments to make sure people are safe, make sure we're doing everything to protect lives and property. But there's a lot more to do, and we're going to continue to stay focused on that.
British Columbia declared a state of emergency on Friday and later banned non-essential travel to free up lodging for evacuees and firefighters. It's also urging drone operators and others capturing images of the blazes to stay clear of rescue workers. Trudeau said on social media the federal government was sending in the military to help with evacuations and other logistical tasks in response to a request from the BC government. Firefighting officials said on Sunday conditions were improving but warned of difficult days ahead. The province's record-setting wildfires are expected to push more people out of their homes this week as blazes destroyed properties and forced part of a major national highway to close. Forest fires are not uncommon in Canada, but the spread of these blazes and disruptions they've caused highlight the severity of Canada's worst fire season yet, which has killed at least 4 firefighters. There were similar scenes near and across the United States border on Sunday too. Firefighters in the U.S. state of Washington are battling more wildfires that began on Friday and are tearing through the state at a high speed. Officials said on Sunday at least one person had died in a blaze in Spokane County, bordering the state of Oregon. They also said the blaze was only 10% contained. During a visit to an evacuation shelter in Spokane on Sunday.
Even from above, it's hard to convey the scale of the devastation here. The helicopter keeps flying, but there's no end to the rows and rows of burnt down houses. This devastating fire, the worst disaster Hawaii has ever faced. Today, residents of Lahaina began picking through what's left of their town, what's left of their lives.
People lost everything, homes, jobs, their cars, some their pets. There's still people missing. I've fought wildfires in California, and I was here yesterday when it flared up, and I've never seen something ravaged so fast.
The flames spread suddenly and quickly, fanned by high winds and dry conditions. Residents and tourists caught by surprise. Some forced to jump into the ocean to save their lives.
Hello there and welcome to Max Plus. India has never seen such a situation in the history of the world. Recently, floods have taken a terrible form in India, the dilapidated state of northern India. Several coastal areas of India have been washed away due to continuous rains for several days. Within the region, Himachal Pradesh in India has faced the most damage. Not only Himachal Pradesh, but also Himachal Pradesh, Delhi, Punjab, and Haryana are facing dire situations due to this flood.
Imagine, all these things are happening on planet Earth.
Yes, these are impacts of climate change. So this program has never denied that the climate is not changing, the globe is not warming. There is global warming, we agree. But this program is saying that the methodology they are applying to combat climate change, parts of it goes contrary to the law of God. It leads to a global sin, which will call for a global punishment, and that will bring the end of this world. That's what we are saying on this program.
So this is not a global pandemic, but rather global transgression.
Global transgression. That we are heading towards soon.
That's right.
And the efforts the leaders of this world are making is what to bring in the Sunday law.
Okay.
The next video.
Okay. Production, please. Video 15.
Yes.
Please roll it for us. Video 15.
Video 15.
My generation has failed in its responsibility to protect our planet. That must change. The climate emergency is a race we are losing, but it is a race we can win. The climate crisis is caused by us, and the solutions must come from us. We have the tools. Technology is on our side. Readily available technological substitutions already exist for more than 70% of today's emissions. And we have the roadmap, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Agreement on climate change. And we have the imperative, undeniable, irrefutable science. The best science, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, tells us that any temperature rise about 1.5 degrees will lead to major and irreversible damage to the ecosystems that support us. But science also tells us it is not too late. We can do it. Limiting warming to 1.5 degrees is still possible.
Okay, welcome back. Evangelist, I have one interesting message here that I want to read. From one of our brothers called Sylvester from Ningo, Old Ningo. He says, "Happy Sabbath, my evangelist. The Pope is ready. The United Nations is ready. And America is now finally ready. But is the remnant church ready? It's a question mark. They should answer it and take." They should answer it and take. From Sylvester from Old Ningo Evangelist.
They shouldn't worry.
Okay.
The remnant church cannot be entirely ready at the same time.
Okay.
But you see, the coming of light from God is progressive.
Okay.
And it is received by faith. So depending upon who catches the flame first, the message goes.
We thank God
right.
for that.
So we heard the UN boss says we have the tools. Yes.
To fight climate change.
To fight climate change. And when you open the tools box, he mentioned it. He mentioned 4 big tools. Among them is the Paris Agreement.
That's right.
Which will help to transform the temperature of the earth now, as is on the screen, from B to A. Very good. That is Article 2A of the Paris Agreement.
Okay.
And that, in addition with 6A, brings the passing of the Sunday law.
That's right.
Yes, when I say so, I mean it. We will use the UN's own videos. We use their own videos to explain what we are saying, because the effort we are making to reduce the global average temperature to a minimum degree, which would be like the pre-industrial levels. When you look at A, that is when you look at the photographs on the screen, A is a pre-industrial level, 1975 that way. Though industrialization began around the 17th century, but the IPCC picks it from 1975. That if we get it at that minimum age, we are okay. Minimum degree, we are okay.
But is it possible?
That's what they are saying. That per the Paris Agreement, if it is implemented well, we will hit that by the year 2050.
Okay.
The next video 16.
Okay.
Yes.
Video 16 production, please. Video 16.
It's hard to miss something that weighs 37 billion tons. That's the amount of fossil fuel-related carbon dioxide humans release into the atmosphere every year. The gas is entirely invisible, until now. In a striking new video, NASA has revealed the release and circulation of human-produced carbon dioxide for the entirety of the year 2021. Space agency scientists drew their data partly from observations made by weather satellites and partly by Earth-based monitoring of known greenhouse gas emitters, industrial areas in the developed world in particular. The most dramatic takeaway from the video is the outsized role the Northern Hemisphere plays in the global spread of greenhouse gases compared to the far less blameworthy South. The video unspools over the course of the year, and it's not until June that the South is truly shrouded in the North's emissions. It takes that long partly because the equator operates as an atmospheric berm, with hot air rising from the Earth's midline, slowing north-south circulation. Ultimately, however, those billions of tons of carbon dioxide blow past this natural stop sign and cover the South as badly as the North.
Yes, we've watched the coverage from the weather satellite.
Yes, and that is the carbon emissions which we are emitting, which helps us to live on the planet. But what they are teaching now, or what science is bringing forth now, means that humans are adding to that heat through the carbon emissions.
Okay, to make it unbearable.
Yes, so that is the video we've watched from NASA. So now what they want to do is to reduce the man-made carbon emissions. And according to Guterres in the previous video, he says we are racing with time. Yes, and that will pop up in the next video, video 17.
Okay.
Yes.
Video 17 production, please. Video 17.
Emissions of greenhouse gases need to peak within the next 3 years if we're to stave off the worst effects of climate change. And even then, we'd still need new technology to suck carbon dioxide out of the skies by the middle of the century. In their latest report, UN scientists are warning we are on course for devastating changes to our climate. And the head of the UN called out government and business leaders for saying one thing on reducing emissions and doing another. Put simply, he said, they are lying and the results will be catastrophic. Here's our climate editor, Justin Rolat.
What the UN has published today is a roadmap for saving the world from the worst of climate change. But it comes with a massive warning. It is now or never. There can be no more broken promises on climate, says the UN.
Some government and business leaders are saying one thing but doing another. Simply put, they are lying. And the results will be catastrophic.
But there is some good news in today's report, so let's start there. The cost of renewable technologies, wind turbines, solar panels, batteries have been falling far quicker than anyone expected. As a result, the world is rapidly building solar and wind plants. In fact, last year, 10% of global electricity was generated from renewables, according to a report last week. But, says the UN, harnessing the power of the sun and the wind will not be enough. The report details how we'll also need to change the way we get around, what we eat, how efficient our homes and businesses are, how we farm, how we produce the goods we buy, how we move those goods around, and how we protect the natural world. In short, pretty much everything has to change because pretty much everything we do produces carbon dioxide. It is possible, says today's report, but time is almost out. We've got to peak carbon emissions before 2025, says the UN, and then cut them back by at least 43% by the end of 2030. And then we need to take them all the way down to net zero by 2050. It is a tall order, especially given that emissions are currently going up, not down.
What needs to happen is that we need to use all the available tools we have in terms of policies, technologies, and we need to start to use them immediately. If that happens, then it is still possible, just possible, to limit warming to 1.5 degrees.
Welcome back. We are treating America is back past 7 this evening. You know, they are leaving no stone unturned.
Yes, we had the chair of the IPCC that we need to use all the available tools.
That's right,
and that means that we have to start carbon emissions peak before 2025 per their findings. So if we're going to use all the available tools before 2025, it translates that we're going to pass the Sunday Law before 2025 because it is part of the tools in the Paris Agreement.
Even the main tool.
Yes, it's part of it. So they have not said that they're going to pass Sunday Law in 2025, but they are urging the policymakers to make sure that they improve and then pass all the available tools before 2025. Yes, the next video will explain what I've said.
Okay.
Much better.
What's the meaning of that?
18.
Revelation video 18.
Please
yes. Roll it for us. Video 18.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has hailed a major new report on climate change as a survival guide for humanity. Climate scientists from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change said that clean energy and technology can be exploited to avoid the growing climate disaster. But they also warned a key global temperature goal will probably be missed. They say the world is expected to warm above 1.5 degrees Celsius by the early 2030s. Secretary General Antonio Guterres has been speaking at the launch of the IPCC report and said everyone needs to work together quickly to achieve the climate change goals.
Today, I am presenting a plan to supercharge efforts to achieve this climate solidarity pact through an all-hands-on-deck acceleration agenda. It starts with parties immediately hitting the fast-forward button on their net zero deadlines to get to global net zero by 2050. Leaders of developed countries must commit to reaching net zero as close as possible to 2040, the limit they should all aim to respect. This can be done.
Well, I'm joined now by our climate editor, Justin Rolat, who is in Interlaken. Justin, you and I have spoken about these kinds of reports before. What makes this one different and so important?
Well, what this one does is draw together 8 years of work that the scientists in the building behind me have been doing into one single synthesis document. It's called a synthesis report. And the idea is this becomes the kind of bedrock, if you like, for global negotiations on climate change. So this gives the best science evidence of what's happening to our global climate, and it goes to politicians who then decide what policy measures are needed to address that problem. So they're not trying to come up with policies here, they're just stating what is happening to the climate, what's likely to happen under different scenarios, how urgent it is.
Okay, the policy measures that needs to be implemented.
That is the part I like in the video. The IPCC has never said that the policymakers should pass a law in this year or next year or that year. But they have laid the cards on the table and are advising them that per their scientific findings, you should implement the Paris Agreement in total before 2025.
That's right.
This is scientific. They are giving them.
So they have things on the table.
Yes.
And they are pushing them to implement them.
Because the heads of states and they are the lawmakers. You know nothing about science. Even if you were a student of science, you are a politician.
That's right.
But they belong to the IPCC, the only recognized international institution. By the definition of the Paris Agreement, they are in the tools box. So this is part of the tools that the UN have accepted.
That's right.
That they should bring in the laws. And they have said that we should do everything to make sure that all the available laws are enforced before 2025.
That's right.
Now, when you pick the Paris Agreement, Article 6, Section 8A, said that they are to what? Promote mitigation, adaptation, and ambition. That is Paris Agreement 6A. Now, when you go to the UNEP, the United Nations Environmental Program, their website, and you check the meaning of mitigation, they say that climate change mitigation refers to efforts to reduce or prevent emissions of greenhouse gases. Simple. Mitigation.
Okay.
Efforts to reduce or prevent. Exactly.
Okay.
Emissions. Fine. Having said so, when Roman Catholic brought this document out, you just the halfway through the first paragraph and then the last paragraph.
Okay, that's the Catholic Herald. Climate healing by doing less, one day a week. That's for 19th April 2022.
Very good.
If 70 million US Catholics embrace Pope Francis encyclical Laudato Si, one care of creation.
On care of creation.
On care of creation.
Yes.
And honored the Lord's Day by following the third commandment.
Yes.
We will see a dramatic drop in greenhouse gases.
Very good. So this is Paris Agreement, Article 6, Section 8E.
That's right.
You understand? Yes. Reducing greenhouse gases.
That's right.
And the encyclical has already been accepted and adopted by the United Nations. So this is in line. Now consider the last paragraph.
Okay, something is very wrong, and there isn't much one person can do to reduce the threat.
Yes.
But if 70 million Catholics heard Pope Francis' words in Laudato Si,
yes,
and honored the Sabbath, we might all break into music and bring joy to our Mother Earth.
Yes.
And all it requires is that we do less, but do it together, one day each week.
Very good. So the Sunday Sabbath, according to Roman Catholic definition, is the third commandment of the Lord. So it is now a commandment of the Lord per the Catholic teaching. we accept it for them like that because they are saying it. Okay. We don't have a problem. If they are said it is from the Bible, then we could say something. But that is Catholic teaching. No problem. This is what America will lead the world to do. That's why we are saying America
according
is
to the prophecy.
Yeah, according to the prophecy. The next two videos.
Okay, whether or not, production videos 19 and 20. Please roll them for us.
The farmers who will not only help fight global hunger, but also use the soil to fight climate change. The communities that revitalize themselves around new industries and opportunities. And because we are taking all these actions, the United States will be able to meet the ambitious target I set in the Leaders Summit in Climate back in April, reducing U.S. emissions by 50 to 52% below 2005 levels by 2030. Will demonstrate to the world the United States is not only back at the table, but hopefully leading by the power of our example. I know it hasn't been the case, and that's why my administration is working overtime to show that our climate commitment is action, not words. On my very first day in office, I took action to return the United States to the Paris Agreement.
I think delivery name quotations to support na not the me person me bisa on say say evangelists are true challenge say United Nations Afrasia all share kwesi adasom homra na wa share na ka say full implementation no be take place seven pennies ade ekro na yebon kontre hwenya de eba it is a koba sampa ebam say ye enforce say yemfa kwasi adan si ho se osom da obedi atum sa sem okan na ye nkom hye ewiase nyina
me da say I want to assure one I say it is never going to happen because in the Bible hwe time to year 2000 beba no dey na yete ye correct yen Church of Christ funkuto na the whole Ghana ye ko take na host in the India Subontain. Yes, Unimuno. Very good. You come and coffee in Akomato. If you any personal, I say, Bobia tear free. Mikacha say, look, Mikacha one day say it will not happen. I say, so when I saw Okasa with coffee, no, yes.
Yes.
Abraham Money. The energy that he used
exactly
to speak. I don't know, but you have to get him on the program one day.
I remember this book, Animal Farm. Ignorance is strength. He is speaking. On authority of ignorance.
That's right.
Yes, just that that clip was in our local language, so those who doesn't understand the will not get it. But I was telling him far back in those, that was of 2019. I was pointing things out to him that per the UN's step that is taking, they are pushing the world, making us preparing our minds and everything into
and eventually
get a Sunday
pass the Sunday
which he vehemently opposed and denied at that time.
It can never happen.
I hope now that the evidence are mounting, he will now tone down and advise his consciences. Thank God. But Biden made it clear that America is not only back at the table, but to lead by the power of example.
Prophecy fulfilled.
Exactly. So in reducing the carbon emissions, there is a Sunday rest from the Roman Catholic through the Laudato Si given to the United Nations, which every nation on earth is also part of the UN. So now we are only waiting for America, who is the head, like the train, is the coach. When she moves, the whole world moves with her. So we are saying that when America is back, America will be back at pushing the whole world into taking the Sunday law. And that will be what America will go into a national apostasy. And then it will pass it to the world, and it will be a global apostasy. So the whole world will be ripe for one punishment. So again, let me come back to the doorsteps of Seventh-day Adventists, that it is time we'll be sounding the warning in Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Come out of her, my people. Because there are thousands and millions out there who has no idea of what is going on. Typical example is Abraham Money. Yes, he's a child of God, a servant of the living God. Just that he's living in an ignorant world. So it is time we open up the truth to the world, so the people of God can come out of darkness into light. Thank God.
Okay, I don't know whether we still have some few minutes. Okay, last 2 weeks in Bahrain was the hottest in the history of Bahrain, and you can check from the net. And so many brothers just follow the program, and you will get to know where we have reached as far as the prophecy is concerned. This is coming from Foster Owusu Asante. Foster, God bless you so much. Anu Martin, happy Sabbath to you all. My name is Martin. I'm watching. May God bless you all. Okay, Martin, God bless you too. And him, John Harris. Happy Sabbath to you all. Happy Sabbath to you too. Upon Jane Derek. Happy Sabbath. Okay, God bless you so much. So our people are sending in their messages. There are all indications,
yes,
that Jesus Christ is coming.
He's on his way,
and the warning is being sound. But the question is, are the people going to pay heed to it?
Yes, ours is to sound the warning. If we did not, we'll be equally guilty. Yes. So let us keep sounding the warning, and then it is for those who are hearing the warning to make their decision.
Okay,
it's as simple as that. Yes. So we are urging our donors that they should never let down the flag now. They should lift up, the banner of Emmanuel.
Okay.
Contribute to this program. Let's pay the airtime and get these messages across the millions who are watching, through the media, social media. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So this is where we draw down the curtain, and we are still pleading with you that we need money to pay for the airtime. As I speak, we own the station. So please make your contributions. And the number that you can send your widow's mite to is 055 3574 933. And from here we are moving straight to Angel TV, and we are coming your way with Bible Anywhere. That one is going to be in Chi. That is from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So you can also join us this very evening on Angel TV from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And it's the same evangelist Joseph Anani who is going to lead us over there as well. So God bless you so much. Kaswa tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock to 5:30 in the evening. Kaswa Lamte SDA Church. That's where Evangelist Joseph Anani is coming to. So please take note of that. And then on the 2nd of September, we are coming to Nkranza Estate SDA Church. So God bless you for making time to watch the program. My name is Evangelist Kofi Kakari, and the servant of God is no other person than Evangelist Joseph Anani. So same time next week, Revelation Hour will come your way. Don't forget, we shall know the truth, and the truth shall set us free. God bless you.